Hey, how's it going? Oozing Saboldi here in the M24 Chaffee. Got two games for you. First one's on Fisherman's Bay. Now, the reason this Chaffee has a big turret on it is because I recorded this game back in March. I think it's like the March 22nd. But anyways, as the game starts, I will go ahead and move on up to try to get some nice spotting action. So I go over to the western front. I get over close to G2 or even H2. With the Chaffee, with my Chaffee, I'm able to see maximum distance no matter what. But when I stop and get my camouflage up and my binoculars up, I'm able to see beyond those far out bushes. So even the stealthiest of tank destroyers will be able to be spotted by my Chaffee. So in this game, I use that to my full advantage. Because in this game, I'm going to spend probably about 2/3 of the game without being spotted. Now I do see this 3002M. I didn't shoot because he's coming pretty close. I don't want to really get exposed, so I start firing at the T25/2. First shot hit him. Second shot hits the hill between me and him. I lock onto him again. I start firing on him once again. He's out of my view range, or I'm out of his view range, so he doesn't really spot me. But that medium tank, if he gets like a line of sight on me, he's able to spot me out for the rest of the enemy team. But that's not going to happen. I keep firing at the T25/2, and somebody takes him out. Now that the enemies over here are kind of neutralized, I move on forward to see what else I can spot out. If you notice over in the east, there's about 3 tanks over in the village. If they're playing their cards right, they should be able to survive, but this is random battles. Anyways, I see another T25/2. It's a pretty decent tank destroyer. It's just it doesn't really have too much of armor. It's pretty much a medium tank with a tank destroyer turret. But anyways, there's a few other tanks being spotted here. Jackson, and then there was I do get some nice shots right here on the T25/2, turning my attention back to the KV-1S. And right here I'm just trying to get as many shots as I can. They're pretty much so far away that they're not going to spot me out if I keep shooting. But those comrades in arms, they kind of fell. More people show up to the battle, and now it's not looking so good on this flank. So I slowly back off, keeping the bush between me and my enemies, turning the tank around. The Chaffee is pretty cool in the aspect that it's able to turn around completely 180 degree within 2 seconds. So within 3 seconds, you're already moving out. But if you are getting spotted during that time, you're pretty much dead because the Chaffee has no armor whatsoever. Any HE shells will completely devastate the tank. But anyways, now seeing all those reds show up right there toward the end, the entire enemy team's pretty much pushing on the west side. So I'm not quite sure exactly why the people in the village didn't continue to push forward, because even now they're just dilly-dallying over next to the church. So I'm going straight for artillery. I go straight up the middle of the map, and keep in mind I am not spotted yet. I do get spotted by the M24 because I just want to get close the distance on this tank as fast as possible so I can get the kill. I come around the corner, I get proximity spotted, and I go ahead and unload on this artillery tank. He does get a chance to shoot at me. Surprisingly, he only hit my track, knocking out my gun, but I get the gun back online to finish off the kill. Now with artillery out of the picture, I go ahead and start the cap process, hopefully trying to get the enemies to get away from our cap, or at least try to win this game, even though we've pretty much already lost. Way too many tanks died toward the beginning of the battle, and it's not even 5 minutes into the battle yet. Now this T1 Heavy, he's getting spotted out by me. He's kind of freaking out because he doesn't know where I'm shooting from. Now, really important, if you are going to shoot at a target that's pointing their turret at you, you always want to keep moving. So when they try to counter snipe you, they're not going to hit nothing. You have to keep yourself moving and try to get shots in whenever possible. And now with my guns damaged, I am not able to get in as efficient shots as I want to. But I don't really want to use up my repair kit, so I just go ahead and force myself to go through the aiming cycle each time I move. Now right here, the T1 is getting pretty close, and he actually spots me out right there. And that right there opens me up to all the enemies out in the distance. I will not survive in the cap circle, so I have to leave. Um, if I was able to get a few more shots in on that T1 heavy before he closed the distance, then I would have been able to cap and win. But it doesn't always work out the way you want it to. Now with at least 3 tanks shooting at me, pretty much a dead tank moving, so I want to keep myself moving around as much as possible to make sure to put in as much damage as I can. I get a nice side shot in on the KV-1S, but only doing track damage. Strike him once again in the engine, and once again taking out the kill. Then I get taken out by the Jackson from a bit earlier. And that was the game on Fisherman's Bay. Now I got a more recent game for you, a game from just a few days ago, so you can see the difference in the turrets on this bad tank. But anyways, this is Highway Encounter. Now this is a really interesting game type because they like to change the spawn points here. Spawn point for the greens in the south was actually a little bit closer to the corner, pretty much parallel with the reds, but everybody on this game type, I don't know what it is, they just want to go straight for the spawn points. It's like they want to ignore the objective and go straight for spawn points. So as you're going to see, the team is going to go kind of like just Y off, and a few tanks are going to go for the spawn point, a few tanks are going to go for the objective. Which, in my opinion, the southern team actually has the greatest advantage because they have all these woods and all the buildings actually defending them from their opposition. But anyways, I get right here close to the base. I get my camo net and binoculars up, hopefully getting some nice easy spots. As you see, keeping the bushes kind of like between me and the path that they're going to be taking to go up. So the only way they're going to really spot me out is if they get right there where the Panther 2 is and get a little bit closer. But yet, there we go. We got a T-69 that moved a little bit closer, and he actually spotted me out, so I get on out of here, knocking down a few trees in my haste to get out. And as soon as I fall off radar, I turn back around because it's no use just running away on the first time you're spotted when you know that you can try to get some more eyes on the action to make sure the team knows what they're up against. And you want to always try to avoid knocking down trees, because anybody who's really paying attention, they would assume that I'm back here scouting, and they would shoot where that tree fell. But at least I didn't get so unlucky there. So I'm lighting some people up on that ridge line, but then I start thinking, well, why not just come over here toward the middle and try to flank around them? Then I see 2 tank destroyers that just got put on radar up on the hillside, and I'm like, well, I can try to snipe them. I should be able to shoot here without anybody spotting me out, so I try to shoot at the 152 and then the T-28, putting a shot in the T-28. He kind of freaks out and starts backing off. He knows he's getting shot from the side. I get up on the road, and then I check over to see if anybody is going to be able to spot me, and it doesn't look like they will be able to spot me, so I turn my turret back around to the 152, firing, but the tanks on that ridge line behind me did spot me out, so I move on down into the depression. Tank destroyers are going to find an interest in me as well, so I stop once again, take aim at the 152, shooting. I get spotted once again, so I got to keep moving here. There we go. The 152 just tried to take a shot at me. So I just move on around here. Panther 2 is starting to shoot at me here. I see a tiger just trying for a kill. I take the kill on that one, taking his gun right out of the game. Now the enemy Chaffee sees me and he starts pursuing me. He stops in the middle of the field, taking aim, try to get some pretty decent shots in on me. I keep moving because if you're in a light tank, you don't want to just sit in the middle of a field trying to get a shot off, because you don't have armor, and all you're doing is just inviting somebody to shoot you. So I take aim back on the 152. Very long distance. I don't really anticipate these shots to go in, but if I can track him, then that is a good off. I do hit his gun, either knocking it out or damaging it. He's going to have to use a repair kit, but he probably doesn't have one. I take one more shot and doing some damage. Turn my attention over to the side of the turret of the Panther 2. He's moving back and forth kind of erratically, so I'm not able to really put in any kind of damage. Then the other T-28 prototype shows up on the battle. That's a pretty slow tank, so he's not really able to get into the battle too quickly. That's why most of the tanks, they just like to turn to the south up at that spawn point and go straight for the enemy spawns, because they're pretty slow and they don't think they can get to the objective. But I'd say just go for the objective, because that's where all the enemies are going to be at. If you're after the damage, get the damage. If you're after the base, then get the base. I mean, it's a win-win if you think about it. So I go ahead and rush on this T-28 prototype. He's going to start turning his gun on me, and I get shot by the Panther 2. Now this right here is where it gets kind of amusing. I'm able to outpace the turret of a Panther 2, and that was really surprising. I just go around and around and around on this Panther 2. He's possibly able to get his gun on me, but he is having a bit difficulties. You never know, his turret might have been knocked out. But anyways, I help take him out and go after the Conqueror. Conqueror is another one that's just sitting here. He's not really paying much attention. Now he starts turning his gun, and we take out the enemy team. And that was the game on the highway. So if you like the video, leave it a like. If you want to see me drop the Chaffee again, let me know. Leave a comment and even subscribe. I'll catch you next time.